I want you to understand something most people never take the time to grasp. Gratitude is not merely saying thank you. Gratitude is not a polite gesture, nor is it a social formality. Gratitude is the secret doorway, the invisible key that unlocks the treasure house of heaven within you. For when you live in gratitude, you are not just acknowledging what is, you are declaring what must be. You are giving life to that which is yet unseen. Gratitude is the acceptance of the fulfilled desire, the quiet confidence that what you have imagined is already yours. When I speak of gratitude, I am not asking you to bow your head and mumble words without power. I am speaking of the gratitude that wells up from within when you close your eyes and see yourself already possessing the thing you seek. Gratitude is the inner conviction that says, "It is done," before your outer senses ever confirm it, before one single fact in the world changes. Gratitude whispers to you, "All is well." The promise is kept. This is how I use gratitude to manifest whatever I desire. I take the thing I long for, be it health, wealth, love, success, or peace, and I imagine myself already in possession of it. I feel it so real that my body responds. And in that imaginal act, in that sacred inner scene, I say, "Thank you." I do not plead, I do not beg. I simply give thanks, for thanks is the acknowledgement of receipt. Thanks says, "I have it." And when I persist in that inner thanks, the outer world cannot help but conform. I remember when I first tested this great principle. I wanted something that seemed utterly out of reach. The facts of the world told me it was impossible. Every voice around me said, "You will not have it." Yet I refused to bow to the outer world. Instead, I retired within. I built in my imagination the scene that implied I already had what I desired. I filled that scene with the feeling of completion, and then I gave thanks. I felt gratitude so deep that I could have sworn I was already living it. I walked through my days with a secret joy, because in the unseen I had received it. And then, without effort, without struggle, the outer world reshaped itself to bring me the very thing I had imagined. Gratitude is acceptance. Gratitude is possession. Gratitude is the song of the soul that already holds the gift. When you live in gratitude, you do not wait for something to happen. You know it is happening. You do not look to the future. You live in the now where the thing is yours. People often ask, "But how can I be grateful for something I do not yet see?" My answer is always the same, because what you do not yet see with your eyes, you can see with your imagination. And the imagination, when believed in, is more real than anything your senses can report. Gratitude belongs not to the one who has already received outwardly, but to the one who dares to claim inwardly. So when I lie down at night, I do not count the disappointments of the day. I do not rehearse the things that went wrong. Instead, I let my mind slip into the scene of my fulfilled desire. I imagine the end. I imagine the phone call, the handshake, the laughter, the embrace, whatever would imply I already have it. And then in that state, I give thanks. I let the feeling of gratitude wash over me until I drift into sleep. That is the golden secret, for the state you take into sleep is the state you carry into your tomorrow. And when gratitude fills your sleep, fulfillment greets your morning. I use gratitude as though it were a garment I wear. Throughout the day, when a negative thought arises, I do not fight it. I do not argue with it. I simply return to gratitude. I remind myself it is already done. Thank you. And that one inner act lifts me higher than any doubt, higher than any fear. Gratitude is my ladder out of darkness into light. Perhaps you want love. Perhaps you want that special someone or the healing of a broken relationship. Do not chase them. Do not plead with them. Instead, in the quiet of your mind, live the scene where love is already yours. See yourself walking hand in hand. Hear their voice speaking words of affection. Feel the warmth of their presence. And then give thanks, not for a love you hope will come, but for the love you already possess in the unseen. Gratitude will make it flesh. Gratitude will draw them to you. Or perhaps you seek wealth. You want freedom from struggle, abundance to share, prosperity in your affairs. Do not labor endlessly in worry. Do not curse your present condition. Rather, close your eyes and imagine yourself living in abundance. See the bank account filled. Feel the relief of every need met. Picture yourself blessing others from the overflow. And then, in that imaginal scene, lift your heart in gratitude. Say within yourself, "Thank you. It is mine." Stay there, breathe there, live there. Gratitude will open the windows of heaven. Gratitude will rearrange the world to bring you your supply. Maybe you desire health. The body aches. The diagnosis weighs heavy. The condition seems unshakable. Do not bow to appearances, for appearances are shadows of past beliefs. Instead, enter your imagination and see yourself radiant, whole, strong. Walk again with vigor. Breathe again with ease. Feel the joy of a body renewed. And in that vision, give thanks. Not thanks for a healing yet to come, but thanks for health already possessed. And that gratitude will awaken the living power within you to make it real in the flesh. You see, gratitude is not passive. Gratitude is creative. Gratitude is not the end of manifestation. It is the beginning. Every time you give thanks, you stamp upon your consciousness the fact that the thing is done, and consciousness creates reality. Consciousness is the only cause. So gratitude, when practiced in imagination, is the highest form of faith. I use gratitude as a daily practice, as constant as breathing. In the morning, I give thanks for the life I am choosing to live. In the evening, I give thanks for the desires already fulfilled. Even in the midst of difficulty, I give thanks, for I know the unseen hand is working all things for my good. Gratitude does not wait for the world to change. Gratitude changes the world. Let me tell you something marvelous. The moment you give thanks for your desire as already fulfilled, you set in motion unseen currents that will carry you to its realization. People will appear, circumstances will shift, doors will open, paths will unfold, all in response to that one inner act of thanksgiving. You may not know how it will come, but gratitude knows. Gratitude is the law in action. And so I say to you, begin now. Take that one desire closest to your heart. Close your eyes and imagine it done. Let yourself feel the joy of its fulfillment. And then, in that sacred inner space, say, "Thank you." Repeat it until it becomes real to you. Live in that gratitude until it fills your being. And then release it, knowing the work is finished. Do this, and you will see for yourself the miracle unfold. I have used gratitude to manifest love, wealth, health, and success. But more than these things, I have used gratitude to awaken to who I truly am, the creator of my reality, the dreamer of my world. Gratitude has shown me that nothing is withheld from me. Gratitude has revealed that all things are already mine, waiting only for my acceptance. So I invite you, test this for yourself. Do not take my word for it. Choose one desire. Enter your imagination. Live in the end. And then give thanks as though it were already yours. Persist in that gratitude and watch the world bend to your inner state. For nothing can resist the man or woman who lives in thanksgiving. Gratitude is the law fulfilled. Gratitude is creation completed. Gratitude is the secret by which all things are made. Gratitude is a state of consciousness, and that state is creative. Every time you feel genuine thanks, you are planting seeds in the fertile soil of imagination. Those seeds cannot help but grow. They may not sprout tomorrow. They may not sprout in the way you expect, but sprout they must. The entire universe bends itself to the tone of your inner song, and gratitude is the sweetest music of all. When I want to shift from doubt into certainty, I do not wrestle with the doubt. I do not argue with it or condemn myself for feeling it. Instead, I close my eyes and breathe deeply, and I begin to whisper in my heart, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." At first, it may feel hollow. At first, the words may feel like nothing more than sounds. But as I persist, something shifts. Gratitude awakens. The heart begins to feel what the lips are saying. And soon, I am filled with a joy that nothing in the outer world could give me. That joy is the sign that I have already touched the thing I desire. That joy is the proof of possession. Gratitude is not bound by the conditions of the outer world. It does not ask, "Can this happen?" It does not wonder, "When will this happen?" Gratitude says, "It has happened." And because it has happened within, it must, by the law of consciousness, reflect without. There are those who will tell you to struggle, to strive, to hustle endlessly for what you want. They will say gratitude is weak, that it is a form of resignation. But I tell you, gratitude is strength. Gratitude is power. Gratitude is the act of claiming dominion over your world. For when you give thanks, you are saying to the universe, I am already in possession. And the universe, being nothing more than your own consciousness objectified, must reflect that truth. So if you find yourself restless, if you find yourself doubting, practice this. Tonight, before you sleep, take the thing you most long for. Enter the state where it is done. Feel the scene so real that your whole body responds. And then, in that sacred inner act, say, thank you. Let gratitude fill you until you cannot help but smile. Fall asleep in that gratitude, and when you wake, carry it with you. When you meet obstacles, do not curse them. Do not resist them. Instead, use them as reminders to return to gratitude. Say within yourself, this too is working together for my good. Thank you. And you will find that the obstacle dissolves or transforms in ways you could never have arranged. Gratitude has a wisdom far beyond your reasoning. Gratitude sees the path that you cannot. You may wonder, can gratitude really bring me all that I desire? I tell you, it can, it will. For gratitude is the recognition of your creative power. It is the acknowledgement that imagination is reality. When you live in gratitude, you are living as though the wish were fulfilled. And living in the end is the law of all manifestation. Every great thing I have brought into my world has come this way. Not through strain, not through effort, but through quiet acts of gratitude. I gave thanks for the unseen, and the unseen became seen. I gave thanks for the invisible, and the invisible became visible. This is not poetry. This is law. This is life. So whenever you feel the urge to worry, replace it with thanks. Whenever fear rises, drown it in gratitude. Whenever doubt whispers, answer it with thanksgiving. And as you do, watch how swiftly your world begins to mirror your inner song. For gratitude is not a reaction to life. It is the cause of life. Gratitude does not wait for blessings to arrive. Gratitude calls them forth. And the beauty of this practice is that it is available to you now. You do not need wealth to begin. You do not need perfect conditions. You do not need to wait for anything. You can begin this very moment. Close your eyes. Feel the end. Say, thank you. And you have already planted the seed. Gratitude carries within it a rhythm, a vibration, a living current that reshapes everything it touches. When I walk in gratitude, I notice how the smallest things begin to align. The phone call I needed comes at just the right moment. The opportunity I long for shows itself without effort. The person I hope to meet appears in the most natural way. And none of this feels forced, none of this feels contrived. It flows because gratitude has already declared it mine. When you step into gratitude, you step out of time. You no longer measure by the ticking of the clock, nor do you measure by the days of the calendar. Gratitude lives in the eternal now. It says, I have it. And in that statement, the waiting is dissolved. You no longer hunger, for you are filled. You no longer seek, for you have found. Gratitude is the banquet of the soul, and when you eat of it, every desire is satisfied. There are moments when the senses will deny what you know within. There are moments when the world will laugh at your vision, when facts will rise against you like giants. And in those moments, it is gratitude that steadies you. Gratitude keeps you from bowing to appearances. Gratitude whispers, what you see is not final. What you feel within is the truth. And if you persist in gratitude, the giants fall, the mountains move, the rivers part, and the very facts of life bow to your imagination. I have stood in rooms where lack screamed at me, where everything suggested failure, where no door seemed open. Yet in those rooms, I closed my eyes and whispered, thank you. I saw myself beyond the room, beyond the walls, beyond the condition, and I gave thanks as though I were already there. And soon the walls gave way. Soon the lack turned to plenty. Soon the closed doors opened wide. Gratitude was the power that shifted the scene. Consider how a child receives a gift. The child does not question whether the gift is real. The child does not ask, can I trust this? The child tears it open with joy, and gratitude bursts forth naturally. That is the spirit I keep in myself when I practice gratitude. I become as a child. I accept the gift without questioning the how or the when. I simply know it is mine, and my thanks are sincere. If you could only see the invisible movements that gratitude sets into motion, you would never spend another day in doubt. For unseen to you, forces begin to arrange. People are moved, events are shifted, resources are drawn. The entire stage of life is relit and reset, all in response to your inner state of gratitude. What you hold within must show itself without, and gratitude ensures it does so with grace. So when I wake in the morning, I do not rush to the news, I do not rush to the noise of the world. I take a quiet moment, close my eyes, and let gratitude rise. I give thanks for the desires that are already fulfilled in the unseen. I give thanks for the day that will unfold according to my inner vision. I give thanks for the love, the wealth, the health, the joy that are already mine in consciousness. And as I step into the day bends to meet me. Gratitude is not limited to the great desires. You may practice it in the smallest things, the simple act of breathing, the warmth of sunlight, the taste of water. All these become symbols of your creative power when met with thanks. And as you give thanks for the small, you make way for the great. For he who is faithful in little will be faithful in much, and gratitude proves your faithfulness. When I walk through a crowded street, I often practice silent gratitude. I look at the people, the shops, the lights, the sky above, and within me I say, thank you. I am not thanking the outer scene as it is, I am thanking the unseen truth behind it. I am thanking the deeper reality that is always unfolding. And in that moment, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. The world becomes alive, vibrant, charged with possibility. Gratitude transforms perception. It takes the same world and gives it new meaning. Where others see obstacles, gratitude sees stepping stones. Where others see endings, gratitude sees beginnings. Where others see scarcity, gratitude sees abundance hidden just beneath the surface. Gratitude is the lens that brings the invisible into view. When I find myself drifting into complaint, I do not condemn myself. I simply turn the complaint into gratitude. If I am tempted to say, I lack, I transform it into, thank you for the abundance already mine. If I am tempted to say, I am lonely, I transform it into, thank you for the love already surrounding me. If I am tempted to say, I am weak, I transform it into, thank you for the strength already rising in me. Gratitude rewrites the script of my inner dialogue, and that rewritten script becomes the drama of my outer world. I have seen the most remarkable changes come through the simple practice of gratitude. A woman once told me she longed for a home of her own. For years she struggled, saving little, never able to meet the requirements the world demanded. She would sigh and say, one day perhaps. But then she changed her approach. Each night, before sleep, she imagined herself turning the key in her own door, walking into her own rooms, arranging her furniture. And in that imaginal act, she gave thanks. She whispered, thank you for my home. Thank you for the joy of it. She persisted not one night, but night after night. Within months, circumstances shifted. Money she had not expected appeared, opportunities opened, and the home she thought impossible became hers. Gratitude drew it to her as surely as a magnet draws iron. Another man desired a position that seemed beyond his reach. Many told him he was unqualified, that others were far better suited. Yet he did not let their opinions govern his state. He went within, and in imagination, he lived the scene of already holding that position. He heard the congratulatory words, he saw himself seated at the new desk, and above all he gave thanks. He said, thank you for this work, thank you for the success. In a short time, a chain of events unfolded. Someone ahead of him unexpectedly left, and he was offered the role without effort. The gratitude he carried within announced his possession before the outer world confirmed it. You see, gratitude is the bridge between desire and fulfillment. It is not enough to imagine only, you must also accept. And the truest form of acceptance is thanksgiving. When you give thanks, you are not hoping, you are claiming. You are not waiting, you are living it now. Gratitude closes the gap between the seen and the unseen. I have known individuals who longed for healing, and though the world gave them no hope, they turned inward. They saw themselves strong, vibrant, whole. And in that vision, they gave thanks. They would rise each morning saying, "Thank you for my health. Thank you for the energy flowing through me." And slowly, the body reshaped itself to mirror the state of mind. What medicine could not accomplish, gratitude performed, because gratitude was rooted in imagination, and imagination is the true physician. When you practice gratitude, you are speaking the language of creation. The outer world cannot resist it. It must echo what is held within. And so I say, practice gratitude not only for what you call blessings, but for all things. For every challenge contains the seed of fulfillment. Every seeming delay carries hidden order. When you can say, "Thank you," in the face of difficulty, you have mastered the art, for then you are affirming that the unseen good is already present. There is a great difference between saying thanks with your lips and saying thanks with your being. Lip service gratitude is hollow, it carries no creative force. But gratitude that fills your chest, that stirs your breath, that brings tears to your eyes, that gratitude creates. It is not the word, but the feeling that matters. The feeling of gratitude is the touch of the unseen made real. Each time I practice, I find myself lifted beyond the reach of fear. Gratitude carries me to heights where nothing can touch me. Problems shrink, doubts dissolve, and the world itself becomes pliable, ready to be shaped by my vision. Gratitude gives me the courage to persist when the senses deny. Gratitude is the anchor that holds me steady until the harvest appears. I remind myself daily that gratitude is not reaction but causation. If I wait for the world to give me a reason to be thankful, I am living backward. But if I begin with thanks, the world cannot help but supply the reason. Cause always precedes effect, and gratitude is cause. There is a rhythm in this practice, like the rising and setting of the sun. Each morning, I give thanks as though the day is already fulfilled. Each evening, I give thanks as though the desire is already mine. The cycle continues, and with each cycle, the unseen grows stronger, the vision takes root, and soon it flowers in the outer world. I tell you, gratitude is the simplest act you can perform, yet it is the most powerful. It costs nothing, requires no special place, no ritual, no tool. Only your imagination, only your willingness to feel it. And with it you can call forth the highest mountains of success, the deepest rivers of love, the widest fields of abundance. And so I say to you, gratitude is not an ornament to life, it is the very power that shapes it. Every desire you hold, every vision you cherish, is already alive within you, waiting for your acceptance. Gratitude is that acceptance. The moment you feel thanks as though the wish were fulfilled, you seal the covenant with your own imagination, and nothing in this world can prevent its outpicturing. Do not wait for proof, be the proof. Live in the spirit of thanksgiving now, and watch as your world bends to reflect it. For the one who walks in gratitude holds the master key to creation, and with it there is nothing you cannot manifest.